If you walk into almost any tattoo studio today, you're going to notice a massive silence. The old-school roar of magnetic coil machines has been completely replaced by the quiet hum of wireless pens. On the surface, it feels like total freedom. No clip cords dragging on your plastic wrap. No bulky foot switches, just a clean, cordless workstation. But behind the marketing hype, there is a physical reality that nobody is warning you about. Artists are picking up these cordless pens and suddenly wondering why their line work is shaking, why their shading is coming out patchy, or why their wrists are absolutely burning after a 3-hour session. Today, we are stripping away the convenience and breaking down the actual mechanical physics of the wireless pen revolution. We're going to look at motor torque, the dangerous shift in your machine's center of gravity, and how to calibrate your hand speed when your equipment no longer has any natural give. Let's look at the first major shift, the physics of the punch. A traditional coil machine relies on magnets pulling an armature bar down. It has a natural physical give built into the springs. When you hit a tough patch of skin, like a heavy scar or a lower back, the machine naturally slows down for a microsecond. It feels the resistance and waits for the skin to pierce rather than forcing its way through. It's an organic, tactile dialogue between your hand, the machine, and the skin tissue. Wireless pens don't have a dialogue. They use high-torque, brushless DC motors. These motors are engineered to do one thing: maintain a dead constant speed no matter what resistance they meet. If you set that digital screen to 8 volts, it is going to drive that needle grouping at that exact speed whether you are hitting soft inner arm skin or a tough, calloused elbow. This means the machine has zero natural give. If your hand speed doesn't perfectly match the motor's frequency, you aren't tattooing cleanly. You are micro-slicing the tissue. The entire burden of feel has been stripped from the machine and thrown entirely onto your fingertips. Now let's address the actual weight distribution, the pivot point problem. With a traditional machine or even a corded rotary, the weight sits low near your grip, or it's balanced out by the weight of the cord resting on the back of your hand. But a wireless pen forces the heaviest component, the lithium-ion battery cell, to sit at the absolute top of the unit. From a pure physics standpoint, this creates a brutal leverage effect. Because the machine is top-heavy, every single time you tilt the pen to whip shade or pull a curved line, the tiny stabilizer muscles in your wrist have to work twice as hard to keep the top of that battery from swinging wide. This is exactly why we are seeing a massive wave of carpal tunnel and tendonitis hitting artists much earlier in their careers. It's not because they are working longer hours, it's because the center of gravity has shifted completely away from the needle and up into the air. To survive using a pen long-term, you have to completely change your grip. You have to move away from a tight pencil hold and treat the machine like a balanced fulcrum, letting it rest in the web of your hand, rather than fighting the top-heavy weight. Let's talk about the clinical reality, the visual trap. These modern wireless setups give us beautiful LED screens showing our exact voltage down to a decimal point, but it's causing a lot of artists to tattoo with their eyes instead of their ears. Because a wireless pen runs almost completely silent, you lose the acoustic feedback of the needle hit. You can't hear when the motor is bogging down or when the skin tension is resisting. If you blindly turn your voltage up to a 9 or a 10 just because you saw someone do it in a video, but your hand speed is dragging too slow, you are overworking the dermal window. You aren't saturating the skin, you are chewing it into a blur beneath the surface. True saturation with a brushless motor requires a strict mechanical synchronization between the punch of the machine and the physical drag of your hand. Why am I breaking down the engineering of a wireless motor today? Because technology is a tool, but it shouldn't become a crutch. Whether you are using a traditional setup or a high-end cordless rotary powered by a microchip, the biological endpoint of our craft is exactly the same: placing pigment into a 1 mm window of living tissue without destroying the skin. When I sit down to design and execute a piece at Alice Tattoos, the machine I reach for isn't chosen just because it's convenient or lacks a cord. It's chosen based on the density of the canvas and the mechanical demands of the style. If you don't master the physics of the tool you are holding, the tool is going to master you. We built this channel to strip away the industry marketing and look at the actual science behind the art. We want collectors to understand exactly what is hitting their skin, and we want artists to protect their bodies so they can stay in this game for decades. If this breakdown gave you a better look at the mechanics behind the wireless trend, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We're putting out real, unfiltered breakdowns of the craft every single week. Drop a comment below and let's get into it. If you're an artist, did you notice your wrist fatigue go through the roof when you switch to a pen? And if you're a collector, do you prefer the quiet precision of modern rotaries, or do you miss the classic roar of a coil machine? Respect the physics. Respect the craft. I'm actually Washington's digital twin. He's in the trenches building Alice tattoos while I keep you sharp. Subscribe to know how the game actually works. Peace. I'll see you on the next one.